you're allowing someone to speak or not speak based on the color of their skin. Isn't that go against the fundamentals of everything I thought about racism?
I would love to talk about kind of the shift in students over the last few years. We hear about, you got this the Gen Z, the Zoomers, right? They're in, and you see these videos online of the indoctrination at these colleges, and they come in one way and then they leave another. I would love to hear y'all's perspective on that. Is that just like boogeyman talk, or have y'all seen the insanity of more or less indoctrination inside your respective institutions?
I have, and I didn't. This conversation wasn't really happening as much when I arrived at graduate school in 2016. And then Trump comes into office. The dialogue becomes more intense, it's happening more frequently. I'm starting to notice patterns that I didn't notice before. I'm starting to hear phrases I've never heard before. Being told, okay, at Emerson, suddenly there was during a the teachers meeting, faculty meeting, 300 students walk in waving placards accusing Emerson of being a racist institution. Racist is one of the most liberal institutions in the country, in Boston. It's a communications school. It's an art school. And they had started Facebook pages trying to quote things that had happened in the classroom. And it'd be interesting to look at some of those examples. But when I looked at them, I was thinking, I'm not sure if this is fair. This is extreme. Is this really is this fair to categorize this as a racist institution? So then I find myself, I was taking a pedagogy class with the dean of the graduate program, teaches one class a year. And I was in it, and it happened the same week as this protest. So then we're sitting down with the head of the diversity and equity office, which I had never even heard of that phrase. Suddenly there's an office now. They come in and sit down, and there was 2 other white students in the class. And it was a 3-hour class, and we were told not to speak because we were white, and we were supposed to concede our space. We were to allow more space for other. And I remember thinking, you're allowing someone to speak or not speak based on the color of their skin. Isn't that go against the fundamentals of everything I thought about racism? And there was something deeply within me that I started to question, and I couldn't really articulate it to anyone. I was nervous too. And anytime I did, there was always this feeling that you would be ostracized. And so patterns like that started to occur over the next 3 years, but that would be an example. Dr. Rachel, what are your thoughts?
I think you put it very eloquently. All the little things you notice in administration, students, coming in, maybe a vocal minority saying, hey, this institution is racist, or this institution is transphobic, or whatever, the buzzword of the day is. I admit I used to be very woke early on in college. I went to college for 12 years. It wasn't really until grad school that I started questioning things. And that's why I'm very grateful for my grad school years to finally start questioning things, asking questions of my teachers, really trying to observe what's going on in the world. I think I really started to notice it when, like you said, Warren, when Trump came into office and, people started having much more intense conversations in the halls, but no one, at least in the schools I went to, no one was really extremely vocal about it. Because I went to school in Connecticut for the first, undergrad and my master's, and then doctorate, I went to Ohio, in Cincinnati. And it was at least Ohio, very different atmosphere from Connecticut. But I noticed it in administration first, not the students. I noticed it in administration first. The Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office was created. I noticed there were spaces in the school for actual back parts of the library were secluded specifically for Black and African American students. Nobody else was allowed over there, just them. And it was it felt very segregated. But
what happens if
it was called safe spaces.
what happens if a white student, a Mexican student, a
We saw
Chinese
that.
student goes into this?
There's a
What
video of
happens?
that. We saw that play out on video, and I forget
Yep.
who that was, what his name was, but it went viral. They were in the library in one of those spaces, and some students they were in these two students, I believe, were white. They said,
Mhm.
this is supposed to be a space for other cultures, and he said, does my culture not get to participate? And he hit the exact words where, is white not a culture? But I would have rephrased it saying, does my culture, why is my culture excluded? Do I get a culture? And
Yep.
it became a shouting match, and they were forced to leave, I believe.
Mhm.
So it seems like to say regressive is an understatement. I mean, what can be done? I mean, this is clearly, if you're being told not to speak because you're white, if you're
Yep.
being told
Colors.
you can't go anywhere because of, the color of your skin or your beliefs or whatever it may be, like, that's clearly wrong. It's clearly immoral, and it's clearly illegal.